Hi, today we're going to be talking about what you need when you're traveling with your heat-friendly synthetic wigs. When I first started wearing wigs, I can tell you it kind of stressed me out trying to figure out what I needed to travel with. And I can tell you at first I traveled with way too much stuff. So my goal is to simplify for you exactly what you need when you're traveling with your wig. I will tell you that I'm a minimalist, so I've pared this down pretty well, and hopefully that helps you in figuring out what you need. I will also tell you that in the beginning, I had a fear of going through the airport and having, being stopped at security or something through the security checkpoint, that there was a metal stay in my wig that I didn't know about, and I was gonna have to take my wig off and be embarrassed. And I can tell you that has never happened to me. And I travel internationally, I travel locally, and I'm telling you this to help give you confidence in wearing your wig when you're traveling. Okay, so that's the beginning. The next part to me when I first started wearing wigs is what I heard, and this helps with your packing, is how many times do you need to wash your wig? So I heard, wash your wig every 6 to 8 wears or every 8 to 10 wears. Well, that really wasn't helpful for me, because what if you're wearing your wig 2 to 3 hours a day, or you're wearing your wig, 8 to 12 hours a day? That's a big difference in the number of hours and days that you're wearing your wig. So my rule of thumb, and this helps with packing, is I wash my wig every 35 to 40 hours. So that helps me know what I need to be packing for my trips. So I wanted to mention that. So let's say I'm gonna be gone out of town for 5 days. I know I'm gonna bring 2 wigs with me. So that's always a place to start. Let me also mention that when I'm traveling, and this, by traveling, I mean to and fro. So when you're, driving or flying somewhere or coming back, I always travel in a shorter wig. Even this wig is a little long for me for travel. I would probably, pull this wig back in a pony or get it out of the way. And the reason I like to travel in a short wig is because there's less friction on the seat, maybe even on the airplane seat or my car seat, or it's not rubbing on my shirt and causing tangles that are unnecessary. So I like to travel in a short wig. If you don't like to travel in a short wig, that is absolutely fine. You travel with what is best for you. You can always sling it over your shoulder, put in a low pony, whatever you need to do. So I travel in a short wig. So the wig I often travel in is by Belle Tress. It's called Alicante. Travel in whatever you want, but for me, that's just kind of my go-to, because I don't have to comb it a lot. I don't have to brush it. I can wear it for 12 hours. And it looks exactly the same as when I put it on, because it's not rubbing on my shirt or on the seat. So that's gonna be a place to start. So now let's talk about what I bring with me. So first, I know I'm traveling in a wig, even this wig. I always bring a wig bag. This is what I store my wigs in when I'm traveling. And I always have a hairnet. So I know at the end of the day, after I air my wig out, I'm gonna store this wig back in the hairnet that it came in. And also I keep the tags. I always keep the tags, and I keep the boxes. I store my wigs in their boxes if I'm not wearing them regularly, to keep them clean, but I keep the tags. So I know exactly where I'm putting my wig back. So I have that. Now, like I mentioned, I know that I am bringing 2 wigs with me because I'm going 5 days. So for me, and I'll show you, they go just like this in these bags. And I'll put the information down below. You can see exactly what I'm using if you're interested. But I take 2 wigs and I always fold them. This is how I store them, inside out, with their hair nets, along with their labels here. So I know also where I'm putting them at the end of the day after I've aired them out. So I have those. Let me also mention too, and this is because I'm traveling for business. If you're traveling for leisure or whatever you're doing, it won't matter. But for business, I always pick something that I consider to be sister styles or sister colors. And by that, I mean, are the styles similar to each other? Because I'm not gonna show up one day in some long flowing wig, and then the next day, in a short, different colored wig. If I'm seeing some of the same people, or people know me in a certain way, then that's the wig that I wear. But if you're traveling for fun, and all bets are off for that. So for this particular trip, I'm bringing Seville by Belle Tress and Macadamia Latte Rooted, just telling you in case you want to know. And another one that is similar is Chelsea and Macadamia Latte Rooted. They just happen to be the same brand. I have plenty of wigs that are different brands that have similar colors that I know that I can travel with in that way. So I like to mention that. So I'm gone for 5 days. I'm bringing those 2 wigs and the wig on my head. Do I need them both? Maybe, just in case. I always like to have a spare. All right, so now I'm gonna show you the products that I use and the tools that you can use if you choose. So again, I'm a minimalist, so I'm gonna show them to you in order. So the first thing I use on my bio hair is Aveda Botanical Repair, and I just put that in. I have very little hair left, but I'm trying to just take care of whatever I have, so I put that in. It's a strengthening overnight serum. Again, I'm not using it overnight, but I like it. It just makes me feel like I'm doing something good for my hair. So I put that on. If you don't have hair, then that's not something that you have to worry about or pack. Another thing that I travel with is Boldify, and it is a root touch-up. Looks like this. Comes this little thing here. And I like that because, again, I try not to do a lot of damage to my hair. I color it sometimes with demi-permanent, but I also like to pull out a little bit of my bio hair because I think it makes my wig look a little more natural and it matches the rooting in the wig. So I like to travel with that. So those are the first two things I do. Then I pull my hair back in a low pony, and I always have extras of these. This is how I pull my hair back to wear my wig. So I like these. They're small, they're compact. I can travel with them, they're light. I use these all the time anyway, and I can discard this after I wear it, 2 or 3 times, and it gets stretched out. So that's the next thing. I always travel with an extra wig grip. I always hand wash my wig grip at night that I'm wearing, but I always keep an extra one just in case. I've never actually needed it, but for me, if I don't have a wig grip, my wig is not staying on. So for me, this is non-negotiable when I'm traveling. So I always have an extra wig grip. Now, I also have a wig brush and a wig comb. And I happen to like these. These are John Renault. I'm sure you can find others as well, but I like these. They're tried and true. In fact, the label's worn off on this. I've loved this one so much. So I always travel with those. Yet you have to use wig-friendly hairbrushes and combs on your wigs. Otherwise, you're going to destroy your wigs. Don't use a regular brush or comb. I like these too because if I want to, I can use these on my bio hair, after I've taken a shower and washed my hair. So there's that as well. Now, I also use, and I wish I would have found out about this a lot sooner, but I just found it recently. It's a hair finishing stick. I don't put a lot of products on my hair because I think it causes buildup and it means I have to wash my wig a lot more. But I love this, and it's a wand. And I keep this actually in my purse, so I don't even have to pack an extra one, but I have it, and I just touch up if I have flyaways at the beginning of the day or throughout the day, which is very rare, but if I have flyaways, then I will definitely do that. Okay, now I also bring an empty spray bottle. You can pick whatever one you want. This is just one that I like, and I use this. I fill it with water, and at the end of the day, after I've worn my wig, I spritz the bottom. If I notice that there is some tangling at the bottom of the wig, I spritz it and brush it out or comb it out. Again, I try to use very little products on my wigs, so I like to stick with water when I can. So I use that. Now, talking about the couple of things, if you have extra space in your bag, I have 2 things. So if I have extra space, I'm gonna bring this Jean Renault Maintain. It is a detangling spray. If I find that I have tangles and water's just not gonna cut it, and by the way, I do not drench my wigs in water when I'm combing them. You'll stretch out the fibers, I just miss them. Same thing with this, a little bit goes a long way. I use this also when I need to, and I only pack this if I have room. Because I try to care for my wigs when I get them home. I try not to have to, I'm not bringing wig shampoo or anything else when I'm traveling. I do that when I get home, so I try not to have to do those things. The last thing, if you have room, and only if you have room, I bring my Lange styling tool. This particular one, I have other tools, but I like this one because it can be a curling iron or a straightening iron. And what's important about this is that I have heat-friendly wigs, and they do require heat, and I can't say that enough. They require heat. Women that don't like their heat-friendly wigs, it's because they're not applying heat to their wigs regularly or in the right way, but I always adjust to the lowest setting. I can straighten it, I can curl it if I need to, just to clean up the ends while I'm gone, and it has a fan on it, which for me is important because when you're styling your wig, your heat-friendly synthetic wig, you heat the fibers, but for it to hold the style, the fan cools the style, so it sets everything into place. So if I have room, I'm bringing this. If I don't have room when I get home, I'm either washing my wigs if I've worn them enough, or I am touching them up when I get back home. I hope this information has been helpful for you and helps you streamline what you need when you're packing for your trip, and I'll see you next time.